Now, Your Worship, it's Albert Musai-Khosi who entered into a lease agreement. That is common before this court. It's further common that for the investigating officer to gain access into the said property, the wife of the applicant opened and gave the investigating officer access. Further thereto, the investigating officer says that I found minimal items that belong to the applicant. The issue here is not whether or not they are more in quantity. The fact of the matter is they are there. It proves that he resides in that property. The submission that he makes that the land belongs to the traditional council is based on his understanding according to the lease agreement. And if the traditional council had an issue, it would not have given him the proof of residence. And on that, Your Worship, the council is not saying that he is the owner. They are saying that we acknowledge him. Amongst the people that live in this area, the applicant is one of them. Hence, that letter is labeled as a proof of residence and not a proof of ownership of any form. Now, should the court find that there's a misrepresentation or a possible misrepresentation from the applicant, I submit that that misrepresentation would have been made by Albert Musai-Khosi.
Next week, my apology.
Your Worship, we were just excited, Your Worship, for some time, Your Worship.
Next week, Thursday? The 4th.
The 4th is suitable.
Next week, 4th of June. Your Worship, I'm not sure.
The state and the defense were once again locked in a sharp dispute at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court on Thursday, this time over whether alleged political fixer Oupa Brown Mokgotsi can be reliably traced to the residential address he provided in his bail application. Mokgotsi, who returned to court as part of his ongoing bail proceedings, is facing a series of serious charges linked to what authorities allege was a staged assassination attempt involving himself. The incident, which occurred in Vosloorus in November last year, saw his Chevrolet struck by multiple bullets in what initially appeared to be a targeted shooting. However, investigators have since alleged that the incident was orchestrated. Mokgotsi was arrested on 15 May and remains in custody on charges including defeating the ends of justice. The state has also charged him with unlawful possession of ammunition, perjury, and discharging a firearm in the public place. The court on Monday adjourned proceedings after the investigating officer was instructed to verify Mokgotsi's claimed residential address, a detail that has now become central to the state's opposition to bail. On Thursday, State Prosecutor Thami Mbekane presented a supplementary affidavit from the investigating officer which cast doubt on whether Mokgotsi actually resides at the address he provided to the court. According to the affidavit, investigators used a pin location supplied in Mokgotsi's bail documents to trace the property in question. Upon arrival, the officer noted that the residence had no visible street number, complicating initial verification, and said, "I approached the house and found a female at the residence and introduced myself. The woman identified herself as Dorothy Ledwaba and was confirmed by the officer to be the same individual who had provided an affidavit regarding Mokgotsi's residential status. However, inconsistencies soon emerged when Ledwaba was asked to confirm the property's official number. While she initially indicated the property number as 4544, The officer noted that this did not match the details contained in the bail affidavit. Further observations deepened the state's concerns. The officer reported being shown what was described as Mogotsi's personal belongings, which consisted only of minimal clothing in the main bedroom. No documentation or additional items belonging to the accused were produced at the scene, and said, "In my view, there is no property of substantial value at the residence belonging to the applicant." The state has argued that these findings under Mogotsi's claim of a fixed and verifiable residence, a factor it considers critical in assessing whether he should be released on bail. Mogotsi's legal team, however, pushed back strongly against the state's interpretation of the findings, arguing that the absence of substantial personal belongings does not automatically disprove residency. Advocates Ntabiseng Mahomane and Mark Williams Sekhacha emphasized that Mogotsi remains presumed innocent and cautioned against what they described as premature conclusions by the prosecution. Mahomane also raised a preliminary jurisdictional concern, questioning why the matter was being heard in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court rather than what she described as the appropriate court at first instance, and said, "We were informed by the state that the matter is before this court for administrative purposes and possible future consolidation of related matters." While she did not formally challenge jurisdiction at the stage, she indicated that the defense was reserving its rights on the issue. And said, beyond procedural objections, the defense also rejected the state's suggestion that Mogotsi posed a flight risk. Mahomane argued that Mogotsi is a well-known businessman and public figure whose movements and associations are easily traceable, and that he has previously appeared before the public institutions, including the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry, and has engaged in parliament processes. He is not a person capable of disappearing into anonymity. The defense maintained that Mogotsi's public profile, combined with his business and family ties in South Africa, significantly reduces any risk of absconding should bail be granted. A further point of contention arose over the state's observation that only minimal clothing was found at the alleged residence. For the prosecution, this raised further doubts about whether Mogotsi genuinely resides at the property, but the defense dismissed this reasoning as speculative and unsupported by legal standards, and said there is no formula for the number of items that must be present in a home to prove residence. A person can have 3 or 4 items in a house and still legitimately reside there. The defense further submitted that Mogotsi remains financially responsible for his household and dependents, and that supporting documents had been provided, including an affidavit from his customary wife, WhatsApp communications, GPS, location data, and contact details intended to confirm his residence and accessibility. Despite these submissions, the state maintained that inconsistencies in the address verification process, combined with limited evidence of residency, strengthened its argument that Mogotsi could not be reliably traced. After hearing arguments from both sides, the court postponed the matter for judgment. The magistrate is expected to deliver a ruling on 4 June 2026. The decision will determine whether Mogotsi remains in custody or is granted bail pending the continuation of proceedings in what has become a closely watched case involving allegations of staged shooting, firearm-related offences, and attempts to mislead law enforcement. For now, the dispute over a single residential address continues to play a pivotal role in shaping the outcome of his bail application. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.